Discovering possibilities and potential with passion every day. This is a TPPN production. Welcome to the iPad Possibilities Podcast, episode number 64, Uzu. Well, welcome. And this is the iPad Possibilities Podcast. This is Tim here, and today I've got I think, fairly short episode. We'll see how long it goes. But the main topic of today is Uzu. This is an app I discovered a few days ago after listening to, I think, macOS Ken. I'm not sure who was talking about this app, but I found out about this app, and I've been blown away. I've been really just having fun with this app and exploring some cool ideas that how this app could be used down the road. So we'll get into that in a little bit here, but some quick news. I just wanted to update everybody. We'll be talking about this more on the Sunday show at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at tppn.tv. And the first bit of news is software update 3.2.1 for the iPad is out, and it includes Wi-Fi enhancements, so you'll be able to connect to your wireless access points more easily, I guess, now. And there's some other enhancements with PDF copying and some of those kind of things. I have not installed this yet because for those jailbreakers out there, this will destroy your jailbreak. So for those who jailbreak, hold off until jailbreak is ready. For those that are not jailbroken and have no desire to jailbreak, go ahead and install the update. It's in iTunes now. And then another bit of news, iPhone related, that there's going to be a press conference tomorrow, Friday. And I will be very excited to see what they announce there. It's around the iPhone 4 and what's been going on there. So that'll be interesting. We'll talk a little bit about that Sunday, even though it's an iPhone bit of news here. And then I'll also be speaking this Sunday with John, who's normally there, about the Evernote trunk. And I think it's got some cool implications for the iPad, as Evernote's becoming more and more of an essential app, I believe, for the iPad. And of course, every Sunday night we'll be talking about, some other things too. So join us this Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the live show with John Finnan and some cool thoughts. He was actually at the Evernote event, I'm pretty sure, so we'll have his thoughts there. And without further delay, let's get into Uzu. And I think I'm pronouncing that right, but Uzu is found at uzumotion.com. And I found out about this after listening to a podcast. I forget which one, but let me go over just what is it? What is this app? And is it a productivity app? Is it what kind of app is this? Who could use this app? What age group could use this app? And I'm just going to read kind of their description from their website. So here we go. What is it? I guess technically speaking, Uzu is a kinetic multi-touch particle visualizer. Really, it's a sort of math physics art toy for anyone who's ever wanted to grab the stars and throw them across the sky. You'll use all 10 of your fingers to bend the very fabric of space and time to your will. Okay, maybe that's a little dramatic, but you will find yourself in control of 10 different states of yummy interactive particle motion. Particles will shoot across the screen and fly to your command, twirling in a vortex of color and motion. Freeze and move Uzu in 3D space while contorting spirographic curves with your fingers. Each state blends into the next, allowing you to create a near infinite variety of animations. At 10 fingers, you can even control the color and size of the particles. Basically, it's a ton of fun, and it won't ask you to use a menu. Uzu is very happy when multiple people touch it. Uzu loves parties, children, music, cats, and pubs, although not necessarily in that order. Uzu has many plans for the future, but Uzu would like to hang out with you now, if that's cool. So that is their description, and I have to agree with it. That's what it is. You basically manipulate particles. You manipulate, light. You become the orchestrator of light. You get to determine how it moves, how it goes, and you get to become a creator yourself by interacting with this light, this multi-touch particle visualizer, and it's unlike anything I've ever played with, anything like that I've ever used, and it really is, as this description sounds, as cool as I just read off. And I'm just going to let you know, first off, who the creator is. And I hope to have Jason here on the show in the future. But Jason K. Smith is an interactive designer and artist living in Brooklyn, New York. His work is a mixture of commercial projects and more personal work based on exploring abstract interactive art. Uzu is Jason's first project on a multi-touch device, and he has no plans of going back anytime soon. He's currently in the process of leaving the 9-to-5 world in an attempt to focus full-time on pushing the boundaries of creative, expressive, and technology. If all goes well, we'll see much more from him in the future. So I'm very excited to see what else Jason can come up with. And as you heard here, he is an artist and a designer. And basically with Uzu, this piece of artwork he's created contained in this app, is we get to become the artists ourselves by manipulating this art with our fingers. We get to determine how the light goes, how it all moves, and where, how the image ends up turning out. So I wanted to let everyone know that why this succeeds so much. Why is this such a cool app? Well, first off, as it says, it does interact with 10 fingers, and that's the maximum I believe the iPad is capable of. I've heard 13 being used, which I'm not sure how that works, but 10 fingers, for a single person. So controls, if you don't touch it, it has a Brownian motion and boundary wrap. If you have a single touch, it animate and radiate. 2 touches, pinch, attraction, and boundary bounce. 3 touches, a tri-point vortex, and this is one of my favorite ones, the 3-point touch. And the 4 touch is a quad point inverted vortex. And the 5th touch, when you have 5 fingers down, so a full hand, you have a 3D freeze and translate, which is a very cool thing. Now, number 6 is a 3D oscillating mass. Number 7, a 3D tri-arm spiral, and that is a cool one to play with. 8 touches is a 3D warp inverted translate. 9 touches are 9 springy space ribbons, and that's a fun one to play with too. And then 10th, you're able to change the color and particle size. So you have basically 11 different ways to interact with Uzu, and all of those 11 ways create different effects, different ways. So you have 11 ways to interact with this, and you're able to change the color and size of this, of Uzu. And Uzu, it feels like this life, this alive piece of art that you're able to manipulate, you're able to control, you're able to create your own artwork. And I think this is so amazing, because I think in the future you could have this with video output and as a performance piece at some new art festival, or even music piece. You have a musician that wrote an app and then wrote a musical piece, and behind there on the projector is Uzu, this performance of art being done side by side with music. And with Uzu, you have this blending of art and music, because you can have an orchestra in front, and then Uzu, you can have that as the visual expression of music. You could have, I remember seeing Mr. Holland's Opus, and he had colors, emulating the music. You could musically perform with art with Uzu. That could be a way to share music with those that have lost the gift of hearing. You could use Uzu to express what you can't express with words, what you can't express with sounds, and it's exciting. This is really the first time I've seen something like this, where you're actually performing art most time I've seen, you're able to watch artists paint, but nothing like this. Nothing that the art's already there. It's already ready to be exploited. But now you're performing that art. You're performing what is in there, and you're bringing it to that audience if you wanted to, or you're just yourself. But you can perform that art now with Uzu, and each performance will be different, and you can have, music that you play behind what you're doing, and you can try to emulate what the sound is doing. And there's just so many possibilities, so many opportunities for how this app can be used in the performing world, in the art world, in the music world, in the simple world of just sharing your expressions with people, your thoughts with people. You could use this. I'd love this for the ability to come so you could save your performances, so you could save your Uzu sessions. I'd love to see that. I could see a future where, people are recording their own audio and creating this coherent piece of visuals and audio as this new form of expression, this new form of artistic expression. And this is what the iPad was created for, to bring new forms of things to life. This would not have been possible without something like the iPad. This is a totally new way of expressing yourself, and that is why this is such an incredible app. That is why this is such an incredible first step into this. This is, really the beginnings of what I think iPad 2 is like. This second generation of apps. The second generation of ways we will be using the iPad. And this is an amazing tool that I think universities will be picking up on, that we will soon see performances of Uzu with orchestras playing on top of it. We will soon see that. We will see that in the professional world. We will see that in the university world. And I think we'll even see that at the younger ages. The cool thing here is I've not tried this with a young child yet, but I have to imagine that once I show a young child how to use this, that each touch does something different. They will grasp that. Even at that young age, they will grasp that. They will enjoy that. And this brings art to even the 1-year-old. They will begin to manipulate and perform art at that very young age. And that is exciting. That is something very exciting to me, that, 1-year-olds will be able to understand the concept of performing art, or they might not understand that concept, but they will be able to perform art. They will be able to interact with art in a way that was never possible in the past until Jason Smith created this app called Uzu. And I am just so blown away by this app and what it brings to the world as far as expression, as far as this is really what an iPad can be used for. This is something that you could not have done without the iPad, and this is a new tool. This is a new idea. This is a new thing, and that is, this is iPad 2. This is the second generation of apps, and that excites me. That is something I'm jumping on my seat here, trying to contain my excitement with. We're now at, I think this is the first app of iPad 2, the second generation of iPad apps. It's called Uzu, and I did purchase this app. It wasn't a freebie, so it was for free, but for right now, it's 99 cents in the App Store. It's called Uzu, U-Z-U. So I'd recommend grabbing this today and just taking a couple minutes and just sitting back and relaxing and performing your own Uzu performance. I think, I was just so blown away with what this app can do, and how this, in my opinion, is the first app in the second wave of new apps we will begin to see. we'll begin to see apps that were created solely on the iPad, that had the iPad in mind when creating this app, not as on paper before it was released, but this is the first app of what I believe will be many apps that will simply blow us away as far as what we can now do with our iPads. And I'm excited to see the future of this app. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm going to love to see if Jason will be on the show. I'd love to ask him some questions about the app and where he wants to go with it. And I'm excited to see, will universities start to perform Uzu performances? And that is something exciting. I'm very excited about Uzu, and I've been having such a fun time playing and performing on this app. And I'm excited to see the future of it. I'm excited to see this second generation of iPad apps begin to emerge. And I think this is the very first one. So those are my thoughts on Uzu. And I'll be happy to, accept your feedback. And am I totally wrong here? Have you tried out Uzu? What are your thoughts on Uzu? I think it's a great app, and I'd love to hear your feedback. You can do that by emailing me at iPadPossibilities@gmail.com and 209-542-iPad. Call in, email in. I'd love to hear from you. That'd be fantastic. And also, I'd love to have as many people on the live show. Join us this Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at tppn.tv. Click on the iPad Possibilities podcast and scroll down to the live show, and we'll be there, and I'd love to have you join us. With that said, if you want to support the show, just simply go to tppn.tv and click on iPad Possibilities Premium. And for $2 a month, you can become a premium member of the podcast. All the details are there. And you can also go to the App Store for $2.99, purchase the iPad Possibilities podcast app. It is an iPhone app to give you early access to the content and just convenient access to content. There's 3 episodes every week, so it'll be the easiest way to gain access to those shows. So with that said, you have been listening to the iPad Possibilities podcast on tppn.tv. This is Tim, and I will speak to everyone again Sunday night for the live show.